Welcome to Treasure Island, the classic novel by Robert Louis Stevenson.
Chapter 15. The Garrison in the Stockade. No words could express the relief and joy I felt at reuniting with Dr. Livesey and my companions. I quickly recounted all that had happened to me before taking a proper look around the stockade. The entire structure was built of rough-hewn pine logs, walls and roof alike. The entrance was guarded by a simple gate, and just beneath it, a small stream trickled into a natural basin, an odd but practical feature. The stockade stood bare apart from its skeletal framework. A single stone slab in the corner served as a hearth, and a rusted iron basket held the embers for cooking. Around the fort, the trees had been cleared, their massive stumps left standing as silent witnesses to the labor that had gone into building the place. The rain and wind had stripped the ground bare, except for a few patches of moss and scrub where the stream still moistened the soil. Night winds whistled through the cracks in the walls, carrying fine sand that coated the floor, our food, and even our very mouths. Smoke from our makeshift chimney, a mere hole in the roof, swirled thickly within, leaving us coughing and rubbing our stinging eyes. Add to this that Gray, the new man, had his face tied up in a bandage for a cut he had got in breaking away from the mutineers, and that poor old Tom Redruth, still unburied, lay along the wall, stiff and stark, under the Union Jack. But Captain Smollett, ever the man of action, did not let us dwell in despair. He called us all together and divided the men into shifts. Dr. Livesey, Gray, and I were assigned to one watch, while Trelawney, Hunter, and Joyce took the other. Though exhaustion weighed heavily on us, the captain ensured that none were left idle. Some were sent to gather wood, others to dig a grave for poor Redruth. The doctor was tasked with cooking, while I stood guard at the gate. Smollett himself moved from task to task, lending a hand where needed and keeping our spirits from sinking. From time to time, the doctor stepped outside for fresh air, his eyes red and watering from the smoke. Each time he stopped to chat with me. "Smollett is a remarkable man," he remarked once. "And when I say that, it means a deal, Jim." Another time, he stood silent for a while before suddenly putting his head on one side and looking at me. "Is this Ben Gunn a man?" he asked. "I do not know, sir," said I. "I am not very sure whether he's sane." "If there's any doubt about the matter, he is," returned the doctor. "A man who's been 3 years biting his nails on a desert island, Jim, can't expect to appear as sane as you or me. It doesn't lie in human nature. Was it cheese you said he had a fancy for?" "Yes, sir, cheese," I answered. The doctor chuckled. "Ah, well, you've seen my snuff box, haven't you? And you never saw me take snuff, the reason being that in my snuff box I carry a piece of Parmesan cheese, a cheese made in Italy, very nutritious. Well, that's for Ben Gunn." Before supper, we buried Redruth, standing bareheaded in the evening wind as we laid him to rest. Firewood had been gathered, but the captain shook his head. It was not enough. "Tomorrow we'll need to work twice as hard," he declared. That night, after a meager meal and a round of grog, the 3 leaders huddled in a corner to discuss our future. Their conversation was grim. Provisions were scarce. We could not hold out indefinitely. Yet surrender was unthinkable. The plan was clear: whittle down the enemy until they either sued for peace or fled to the ship.
Once they had numbered 19. Now they were 15, 2 of them wounded, another possibly dead from Trelawney's shot at the cannon. Every chance we got, we would strike, but cautiously, preserving our own lives at all costs. We had 2 secret allies on our side: rum and the fever-ridden swamp. From our distance, we could still hear them deep into the night, drinking, howling, and singing. As for the fever, the doctor wagered that within a week, half of them would be too sick to fight. "If we aren't shot first," he added dryly. "They'll be begging to leave this island." "It's the first ship I've ever lost," muttered the captain. I was so drained that once I finally slept, I slept like a log of wood. When I woke, the camp was already bustling. The rest had long been up and had already breakfasted and increased the pile of firewood by about half as much again when I was wakened by a bustle and the sound of voices. "Flag of truce!" I heard someone say, and then, immediately after, with a cry of surprise, "Silver himself!" And at that, up I jumped and, rubbing my eyes, ran to a loophole in the wall.